big one, isn't it? Bathurst, man, Panorama, welcome viewers. This is round 6 action of the iRacing.com official V8 Supercar series, brought to you by RaceSpot TV. I'm Brett O'Brien, with me, Jake Blackall. Jake, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you, Brenton. Welcome everyone. It's going to be a cracking race. We're here. It's Bathurst, round 6. It's going to be on for young and old. We have a 33-lap race here tonight. Qualifying has started. The cars are just out on the track now. 2 laps people will be able to get in just with this new qualifying format. So here it is. It's one of the big ones, and who's going to get pole? It's going to be good to see.
Yeah, well, this is the one they all want to win, isn't it? And yeah, there's certain dual events, isn't there? This one is obviously the cream of the crop, I would think. But then there's Spa. People love that track as well. But really looking forward to what's on offer tonight. Qualifying's just got 2.5 minutes to go. Cars now are just finishing their 2 laps. They only just get to sneak their 2 laps in, and if they have any problems on their out lap, they won't get a chance. If they have to do a pit stop, they won't get a chance to come in. At the moment, the TTL guys, from what I understand, have done an extremely high amount of practice today. From what I understand, there were hours and hours put into this car today, and Sam Sutton is showing that he really is pretty much a master here at Bathurst. Loves the track and always does very, very well. The defending Premier Series Bathurst 1000 champion from the Scott Series last year. Ian Ford in second place, 7/100ths of a second down Josh Rogers. Keep your eye out for this boy. I said last week while I was interviewing Richard Ham, said this guy's a star. He is a star, and he will continue to shine. But geez, what a strong field we've got.
Oh, the field is strong. It just shows from the top 4 times at the moment. The top 4 only separated by about 1/10, 2/10 of a second, so it's amazing. But while you were going through there, I was actually watching Ethan Grigold. He actually hit the wall on his first lap going through McPhillamy. So his first lap didn't count, and that's where he's now got to hustle this car around. He'll have older tyres for this second lap, hoping he'll be able to get a good lap in, because right now he is down in P17 without a lap.
Yeah, and let's just see if he's got any damage, and he's botched that up too. He's made a mistake there at the dipper, I'm sure. He's hit that curb really, really hard. I don't think he touched the wall. Not sure if he's got an off track there or anything, but this is pretty scrappy by our 3-time defending champion now, Ethan Grigold. And Jared Filson, we heard of him last week saying he wants to win this title this year, or this season, season 1 2016, up into 4th place. But gee whiz, it's a hot field, there's no doubt about that. But like I said, we've got 21 cars going through the weather. The track temperature is 43 degrees, so it's warm, there's no doubt about it. It's down up to 47, 48, but yeah, last night's race it was down to 27. That's just sprint race time. But interested here to see Ethan Grigold as he exits the chase. He has made a mistake on this lap. I am very, very confident this will not be a pole lap, but interested to see where he ends up. Jared Filson in the meantime goes into second. Ethan Grigold, does that time register? No, it doesn't. Wow. Well, so no time for Ethan. Bo Cubis in the meantime crosses the line in 8th place as well. Sammy Sutton looks like at the moment he has that provisional pole, 6/1000ths of a second faster than the V8 Premier Series champion Jared Field. So I think that is actually it for qualifying. Jake, over to you.
Yeah, let's run through the grid here. We got 33 laps of Bathurst. Sam Sutton on pole position by 6/thousandths of a second in front of Jared Filson, defending Scots champion. Josh Rogers and Ian Ford round out row 2. Richard Hampstead and Marlon McMullen 5th and 6th. Kane Kugemeyer and Bo Cubis round out row 4. Michael Cracknell and Corey Preston 9 and 10. Hayden Dodman in 11, Mitchell Selak down in 12. I don't think that would have been where he wanted to qualify. Josh Burden and Blake Coppo on row 7. Michael Hammond, Jeremiah Morton 15 and 16. Marty Carroll down in 17th. Conrad Garbowski, I think it is, in row 18. Then the cars who didn't put a lap in. Ethan Grigold, that's a big name there. So is Jake Maloney not putting in a lap, defending Scott's race winner here as well, with Sutton and Matt Jones rounding out the field.
Yeah, well, that is the story, isn't it? Ethan Grigold not putting a qualifying time. This would be the first time I've seen that since the new format. So it's probably, if you're going to do it, this is probably one of the races to do it. Sounds a bit stupid, I know you'd rather not do it at all, but there are overtaking opportunities here. It is a long race and people will make mistakes. So there's good opportunities there. A couple of new guys from what we've seen tonight. Conrad Kabowski, welcome him to the series there. And also Blake Coppo. He hasn't raced in the V8s on a Monday night race in, it'd be years and years. So really looking forward to seeing what he can come out with as well. But tell you what, the race into the first corner is going to be fantastic with Sammy Sutton. And look at that lineup of the TTL cars there. We've got Sutton, Rogers and Hampstead. We didn't even mention Richard Hampstead in 5th position, Ian Ford in 4th place. But the TTL guys already looking extremely strong. Let's see if they work together as the cars are all formed up on the grid now of what's going to be a fantastic 33 lap race. A bit of a shame our old mate at Bathurst, Bo Catel's not here. Love to see what he can bring to us, but the revs are starting to build. And away. And it's a good start throughout the field. Very steady start. Sutton straight away on the defensive. Jared Filson's going to stick his nose into turn 1. He'll lose a bit of drive out the exit there as they go uphill corner. So it all looks like position normal. I don't think anyone's dropped a position or made any gains. But as they go up here, up the mountain straight, Jared's put himself in a pretty vulnerable position. Ian Ford's going to go around the outside of Josh Rogers, is he? He does. Not really sure he's going to be able to hold that there. So turn 2, Griffins.
Oh. There was some contact there as well between Philsell and 40. 40 is dropped now down. He's just side by side with Hampstead, who goes around the outside of the cutting. If he can make that stick, he'll get that position. Maybe not. 40's holding it tough. He's got it. So a little bit of contact there, but they're all cleanly through at the moment.
No, that's good driving by Rogers and also by Richard Hampstead. That could have certainly got a bit ugly and would have been an ugly part of the track, no doubt. We saw Tony Klusterman on the Friday night races. They come up here through Skyline. Fantastic bit of track, but just right about here, Tony Klusterman lost it. Some fantastic drifting through the corners. Lost it completely sideways and the whole track was blocked for a while. That was a bit of a talking point with the V8s this week. But in the meantime here, up the front here, we've got Josh Rogers, Sam Sutton, and in the middle of them, our mate Jared Filsell, who's just done such a good job last week, didn't he? He was so steady, so patient, ended up not the result that he was chasing. But as they go down Conroy Straight for the first time, Jared Filsell looking very menacing.
Yeah, Jared Filsell, I think that was one of his really good drives last week, and he's on the attack. He's in the TTL sandwich at the moment, the Holden and the Ford. So if he can just sit here, he's doing well. A little bit of damage. I don't know how much that's going to be affecting the car. He does have some left front damage, but right now, he's going down. He might have a look down into Murray's corner, and he does. Coming on the opening lap, he's going to take a look down on Sam Sutton. He's got it done. Yes, he has. So, and Hampstead's going to benefit from this. And Ford. Oh, Rogers, sorry, my bad. And
let's see if Ford and Sutton don't trip over each other here. That's clean as well. So good, Sammy recognised his position there. Didn't, no taps at all. I'll tell you who's also making gains, we haven't certainly mentioned that, is Marlon McMullen through all of that. As Ian Ford is going to be under attack again here from Sam Sutton. So as they enter turn 2 at Griffin, Sutton certainly holding the high line here. Hopefully there's a bit of patience here, lads. So Sutton through, which gives Ford now under attack from Hampstead. So TTL are on full attack here.
Yeah,
so he's got to back out of that. Yeah, so again, Richard did a really good job there, backed out of it. It's good racecraft, that. Seen quite a few races of late where the racecraft has certainly lacking a bit. In the car 14, that's Marty Carroll, has crashed in behind him, Mick Hammond as well. So have to have a look at that. Look like as a exited turn 2, is it? Griffins.
Hammond got loose on the replay. Hammond got loose coming out of turn 2, and then Marty was just a bystander there. From what I could see, it's unfortunate that they've come together there.
I tell you who else is probably a bit unfortunate there. I reckon Ethan Grigolt's had a tap there through all that as well. Hasn't made the ground. We probably thought he was going to keep our eyes on Ethan. Yes, absolutely. There was a bit of it looks like a netcode touch, to be honest with you. And Ethan is gone. Ethan Grigolt has ended his day. He has put it into the wall there. So, he started at the back, didn't get that lap in. And it doesn't matter how long that's going to take to repair, but series leader Ethan Grigolt will be out of this race, which is a shame. So Marty Carroll he's going to have a lot of damage. Mick Hammond's already had a toe into the pit, so drama's there for the STC team and the Angry Birds team early.
Yeah, that's unfortunate to see those cars drop out early. And it's one of those racetracks, especially for Ethan Gringold, that was not what he was looking for. But yeah, poor qualifying result, and it can happen here. It is Bathurst, anything can happen. It's one of those tracks that is just breeds danger around here, and that's one thing you didn't want to get involved with, but hopefully you can use this as a drop round and move on to the next one.
Yeah, I'm sure he will, but having a look at it, that's a massive net code that Ethan's received there. That's not even close, I'm afraid, and yeah, we say it week in, week out, the Aussies are getting the short straw here. We really are with these servers, and yeah, we make noise about it, nothing's changed, but yeah, we go on, but yeah, it is affecting racing. Back here for P9 in the meantime, Corey Preston, an old sparring partner, Bo Cubis here. Not a lot of love lost between these two, I can promise you that. These guys, Bo Cubis is a multiple-time champion here, and these guys are both behind Kane Kugamaya with Mick Cracknell behind them. Mick's done some really good work of late. So these guys in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. And this just shows you how strong the quality of this field is when you've got Bo Cubis in 8th place.
Yeah, it definitely shows the quality of this field. And just speaking about the quality at the front, Phil Cell and Rogers are starting to skip away now. They've started to bridge a gap to Sam Sutton and Ian Ford behind them. And I think this is where they're just going to want to hopefully get away from them, because there is a strategy. There will be a pit stop for about 35 to 40 litres. Lap 9 is the earliest you can stop. So we'll be seeing how they go now, but it looks like they're just starting to skip away now.
There's a bit of a shift here in the TTL team as Ford got really loose on the exit there, and that's going to set him up. This won't take long for Richard Hampstead to get through here. So the cars go side by side down Conrod. Surprised Ford didn't drop more speed there, but this is going to be neck and neck, two wide action as they go up to the chase. Hampstead just dabbling on the brakes. Some good racecraft here. Hampstead should make that move stick, I would think. Yes, he does. 40 trying to hang on. Don't think he should try. Hampstead through. Good move there, and again, good racecraft by the two. The elbows have been out a little bit, but there hasn't been any contact, and that's what we love to see. But as I was saying, is there a bit of a shift within TTL? Josh Rogers now, as they cross the strike at the end of lap 3, now on to lap 4, so still early days, but Josh has shown himself to be the fastest of the TTL cars of late. Might be getting more seat time than Richard Hampstead, whose record speaks for itself. But Josh is doing an outstanding job week in, week out. He's had a third, he's had a second, he's got one spot to go, and that spot's just in front of him in the car for Jared Filsell.
Yeah, I think that's what he's aiming up for this week. He's definitely been putting the pressure on right now, Jared Filsell. It's good to see. Definitely changing of the guards here at TTL. Obviously, like you were saying, Hampstead hasn't done a lot of racing, but now he's starting to get back into it with Scott's looming. So I think there is a little bit, there's a contact, there's a crash at turn 2 at Griffiths. There's a lot of contact, a lot of cars damaged there, unsure as to what has just gone on.
Yeah, I'm going to go try and have a look at it. You can chase that up. In the meantime, we'll just have a look at that, shall we?
Yeah, it was Hayden Dodman got turned around there. A little bit of contact there with Sealak, I think it was, and then everyone else, just the net code of everyone else trying to get through there. It's just collected everyone, so that was unfortunate.
Yeah, it is the... it's an absolute tragedy that this is continuing to happen, and you're live with us on iRacing Live, and they pay the bills. But there's a car here. Who's that? Yeah, Josh Burden. Yeah. His day is definitely done, no doubt as well. So they're starting to fall away a little bit. Blake Coppo, in the meantime, is leading this trail here in 14th place. He's got Jake Maloney. Jake has also a little bit of damage. It's the first time we've seen Jake in the TTL colours, down in 15th. He swapped over last season, came across with his teammate Sam Sutton. So TTL get stronger and stronger. I think, I'm not sure whether Dayco run a lot in the V8s. I'm not sure whether Kern Stenberg and Matty Ross Munro, I haven't seen them this week. But there's a battle up with Richard Hampstead.
He's around at the chase. Ooh. A lot of rear end damage, like a lot. I think, he's got 40 has gotten into the back of him. I don't know whether it was in the, and he's just, a little bit of contact, and it was just around goes Hampstead. So that was at the bottom of the chase.
Oh, is it a net code, or what is that? It actually looks like from, I think,
the first bump was net code, the second one was a pretty big impact from the first bump. So
Yep, not cool as you
know.
see it. Fordy's driven to the back of him there. There's no doubt about that. And we don't like to see that. So not great there from what Ian Ford's done. Not sure whether from that first net code it probably unbalanced the car. And actually, if you have a look at it on my screen, there's no damage at all to Ian Ford's car. And the back of Richard Hampstead's car is a complete mess. So I'm not sure there. It didn't look great, it has to be said. But that ERA car looks pretty clean. Up the front, however, like Josh Rogers is still all over the back of Jared Fields. So, like I said, the TTL guys put a lot of work into their car this week, and that's certainly showing. And like I said last week, just Josh Rogers is an absolute star and doing a great job.
Yeah, he's just still there. Philso hasn't gotten away from him. I think this is really showing the strength that Rogers has come to this year and how he's grown as a driver, especially now with TTL. I don't think TTL has made that much of a difference with him. We did see it early on last season, so he's just starting to prove it, and he's starting to keep that gap there with Philso. He's just lost a bit of a touch over the top of the mountain this time by, but he'll certainly close that in with the draft coming down Conrad now.
Yeah, and actually I've got confirmation, so thanks to Kurt Stenberg there, that the Dayco boys do run. They're not running tonight. They ran the V8 Americas and OSR last Wednesday, so good to see that team still active. And Jared just seems to have just pulled that little bit of a gap now over Josh Rogers. It's certainly not much, it's just chipping away. I think that the amount of time that the TTL guys have put into their car this week, that they'll stay hang pretty tough here, but we saw the pace last year. I know it was October last year, probably hasn't been many updates to the V8s, if any at all. Jared Fieldsall was the absolute number one. He was the cream of the crop, whatever you want to call it. The car was outstanding. He was fastest every practice session, the qualifying sessions, and really, until he got tripped over by someone who we know. That race was his to lose. But, these things happen. It's racing. It was clumsy. He'll be the first to tell you what happened to him. You don't have to ask too much. But Josh Rogers hasn't gone away yet. We're only at the end of lap 5. We've still got a long, long way to go. Let's just see how their tyres hang out.
Yeah, that's one thing you're going to watch here, the tyres. It's Bathurst, it's 43 degrees track temp, so the track is not going to be kind on those tyres. Long race, definitely 112 litres in the back, so you need to fill up for that, like I was saying before, 35 to 40 litres. So I think there was a little bit of contact there behind them with saying something on the wall. I don't know, the net code's all over the place, you can't tell. So it's going to definitely be the one where the pit stops come into it, and we'll see how they play out now, but he's still there. He's not letting Philso get away at all.
Yeah, as an example for netcode right now, the best ping on a car is 233. If this was an American race, a NASCAR race, it would be undrivable. It's no different for us in the V8, especially here at the mountain at Bathurst. It makes it almost impossible on occasions to do close to driving, and I actually had another look at that replay between Ford and Hampstead, and there was certainly netcode in the first instance, and I don't think Ford had a chance to back out of it in time. I really don't. That's why I think now there's no damage to the front of Ian Ford's car, but that's on my screen. Others might see it differently. And as they go around here up the top of McPhillamy, I hear the cars hitting the wall every single lap. I know they're not, but I tell you what, Josh Rogers is caught right back up to Jared Fieldsall here. So this battle continues for first and second, and these guys really just driving ever so slowly away from Sam Sutton. Ian Ford, Marlon McMullen hanging in there, the new Auto 1 livery this week. That looks absolutely mint. Marlon obviously has good success in the V8 America's Supercar races on Friday afternoon and Saturday afternoon Australian time. And whilst we're at it, I must say a huge well done to JD and Kane. These races, the broadcast by V8 Online, have now got association with iRacing Live as well. So if you want even more V8 action, make sure you jump onto the V8's Americas series. It's always really good good racing there.
Yeah, definitely one to watch out for the Americas. You get more of this every week, so that's what you want to see. You love the V8 action. It's good to see iRacing now jumping on board to more series and starting to bring them alive and show them to all the people racing and on the service as well. It's good to see. And this battle up front, Brenton, it's still there. He's not letting him go, and also behind them, it looks like Ian Ford is now starting to drop away and he's falling into the clutches of Marlon McMullen.
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, with the track temperature, what we say at 43 degrees, some are going to get caught out. But this race goes on. The benefit of this race tonight is there's a pit stop involved, there's strategy involved. The cars are going to probably do a maximum. They'll probably get 25 laps out of a stint. You're not going to go that long. Here we are on lap 7 at the moment, and there's just, yeah, I'm thinking the cars will pit probably lap 13, 14. Oh, Jared really snaky on the exit of Forest there as he enters Conrod. So not sure how much time he's going to let lose there, but certainly young Josh is going to make some ground up as they go down Conrod Straight.
Yeah, well, he's still in that draft, so he's definitely going to gain and if not lose a little bit as well. So Phil Sell's just hanging on there. I think Rogers is actually pushing Phil Sell, which is good to see. I don't know whether maybe it's just the track time that they both had on the track this week. Who knows how much Phil Sell's practiced this week. You never know. He always just seems to turn up and still put on the goods. But that's just one thing. Rogers has had a lot of practice. We have seen that this week. And if he can keep this up, he could maybe push for this win. That's that one spot he hasn't got this season, and he could be aiming for it tonight.
Yeah, Jared just missed that apex spot badly there at Murray's Corner. So again, Josh is with him, and I'm not sure whether Josh is... I know we're saying he's pushing Jared, but is he really pushing him? We're about to find out, because he got a really good run out of Hill Corner there. So as they go up Mountain Straight, still no gains here. Now, whether Josh feels like he's needing to save fuel, I don't think so. I think it's more of a case that sticking with Jared there. Just got a bit of background noise there. So yeah, so Josh is still there. The last lap time, well, look at that, it was just the 8/1000ths of a second difference. Josh with a 6.931. Behind them, Sammy Sutton dropped a 4/10 to 7.3, 7.4 and a 7.1 for Marlon McMullen. So he's actually the third fastest driver on the track making gains.
Yeah, that's what I was saying that last lap. He's definitely catching Ian Ford this time. I don't know whether he has any damage on my screen. It doesn't actually look like it. So whether or not he's just slowly falling into the clutches of Marlon McMullen, it's definitely showing now. And Marlon may be able to have a couple of look in a couple of laps' time if he starts gaining about 4/10 to half a second a lap.
So we've had a few retirees already. Josh Burton, Ethan Greg Galt. We saw that net code, Marty Carroll, and tripping over Mick Hammond. Totally racing incident. There's nothing untowards about that at all. But the 17 cars, well, Hayden Dodman in the pits as well, certainly some damage. So Jeremiah Morton would probably be the last guy on the track at the moment, down in 16th.
He's actually in the pits as well, so I'm sure that's what's happened to him, but he is in. But
yeah.
Back to the lead battle, Rogers was really on the back of Jared Filso into the chase, so he's starting to close that gap, and he may just be starting to have a look maybe the next time by the lap after, but at the moment you can't separate these two. They're just trading lap after lap and just applying the pressure to each other.
Okay, so they're on lap 9, young Jake. I'm going to ask you this question. You're the spotter for Josh Rogers. I don't think Jared's holding him. Jared Filso doesn't hold anyone up, let's be serious. But Josh is certainly hanging in there, and he's doing a great job keeping up. Now, you're the spotter for Josh Rogers. The pit window is open. What do? Do you pit, or do you just stick with what you're doing right now? Knowing that if Jared pits before him, he could make that little bit of a gain and break that elastic.
Well, you know, I honestly would stay behind Jared as long as possible. If he is holding him up, then yes, you'd pit. But at the moment, like you were saying, it's Jared Filso. You can't be holding him up that much, so they go through the cutting both sideways out of there. But if I was a spotter for Josh, I'd say wait until Filso pits and follow him. I'd chase that tail of Jared Filso and not let him get that undercut. Because if he gets that undercut, like you said, he will break that elastic and go.
So that's going to be the interesting part, lap 9 now. I don't expect either car to pit yet. And the other danger is if either car do pit, they're going to come back. And there's going to be a lot of traffic for them to deal with. I would imagine, in fact, that they would be all the way down at the moment as it stands. Probably there's a bit of a gap there between 13th and 14th place, and I would think that would be really close to where they come out. But I don't think at any stage you want to be held up. And the tyres at the moment, they'd still be relatively good. They'd probably start to go off about lap 18, lap 19. I don't think they'll wait that long. It's going to be very much a reactionary race. That's the problem Jared might have here. He's leading the pack as he is used to, but right now when it comes to pit strategy, the TTL cars is the ones that are going to be calling the shots. So Jared will react to whatever Josh does. And yeah, it wouldn't hurt on the, you can do that here at Bathurst, just to put a little dummy in to pretend you're going into pit lane there. Josh, does that just then.
Well,
in fact,
no, Jared's in. Jared is actually in.
Yeah, Jared is in. Now, whether that was because Josh was coming in, or whether it was because Josh sold a little dummy there and Jared went for it, don't know. But right now, that means we've got the TTL cars out the front with a 1-2 as Filso enters the pits.
Yeah, it was a good pit entry there by Jared Filso, hitting all the marks as well. I was also going to say that if you were Sam Sutton, you may have wanted to pit, and then what would the front two have done? But Jared answered that question for me. He came in before Sam Sutton did, so he's in the pits. The only issue now, like you were saying, is going to be the traffic. And I think Richard Hampstead has also followed suit, maybe not. No, it's not a car. Mitchell Sealack has followed suit. So Sealack is in the pits as well.
So Filso sitting there, like you said, that was an absolutely mint entry here, and he's got who's he got here? Conrad Garbowski. He will clear that car. I don't really want to see Conrad putting up too much of a fight here. I can't see Conrad doing too much here to Jared. Jared just taking that little defensive line. The cold tyres at the moment, I wouldn't think Conrad's going to scare anyone just there. And yep, so Jared's away. Now the things we need to be interested in here is, number one, does Josh react now and pit? And Hampstead. See, right now on Richard Hampstead's car, it doesn't look like he's got any damage either. So, yeah, at first I thought he was carrying damage, but there's no damage on his car at all. So that just leans a bit more towards a netcode issue. At the first case, I still think that there was certainly contact in the second instance, but maybe from backing off. But the thing I'm interested in now, and I'm on board the car number 15, with Josh Rogers, and we've got Sam Sutton making small gains as well behind, is to whether one or both or neither of these TTL cars pit this lap.
But yeah, I just want to put to the fact of Hampstead, where he's fixed his car. He actually pitted the last lap, so he's come in a lap earlier, maybe got some damage repaired then, so that's why his car is fixed now, I'd say. Because I did have damage on his screen before. But.
Yeah, I did too, but trust me, you won't be fixing the cars up that quickly by the time you change tyres out.
Well, Rogers is in.
TTL 1 and 2, and Ian Ford Maverick coming in as well. Tell you what, they've come in a little bit early, I reckon, but I said that last week. Oh, they can make it on fuel this week. There's no doubt this week they can make it on fuel. But, Marlon McMullen has stayed out. Let's see what Marlon can do. Also, I think that's Kane Cougar-Meyer staying out in the car 10. Yes, it is with Bo Cubis and Mick Cracknell as well. So as all the cars come to their stop, I would think now that be really careful with the fuel. Interested here to see if Jared can get out in front. I don't think I would have pitted here, because we've still got that the car 13, Conrad Garbowski, who might come between them. Filso is already through.
Yeah, Filso's gone. He has made a lot of chunk of time there. That fresh tyres and that little bit of gap away from all the pressure, he has just opened it up, and off he goes down the road, and Josh Rogers would be a good couple of seconds behind him now.
And Ford got caught behind Garbowski. Oh no, to be fair to Conrad, he's let him through. Good racecraft there, but I reckon, see, there's a netcode right there on the exit of Griffin's there with Ian Ford. Straight away it looks like he's got some damage, but there's a change there in position from Ford back to Sutton, so slight change on the track, but a big change in regards to position, because Jared Filso has cleared out. That elastic has broken. Let's have a look what Josh Rogers can produce here. 2 minute 38.6 was the lap time with Jared Filso. That's with the pit stop. So let's just see what kind of gains he's made. He's very, very good on cold tyres. We know that. We saw that especially last week. But right now, Josh Rogers, well, let's just see now. This is our chance to see if he is faster, because there are gains to be made.
Yeah, well, that's right. It's now where was he faster, and was he actually getting held up by Filso? Now it's time to find out as he tries to close in on that ANZ Motorsport car. So he's in front. He got that extra lap from Filso. It really helped him. But also we've got to take into consideration the tyres will be older for these guys towards the end, which could come into the factor of Marlon McMullen, who actually stays out as behind him. I think that's Kane Cougar-Meyer has pitted from P2. Yeah,
so pit stops happening all around. Jake Maloney has stayed out. Now here's a question with Maloney just in front of Jared Fieldstall. So we know Maloney looks like he's. We'll see. It looks on my screen like he's got a bit of damage by Cubis is pitting in the meantime there. There's not going to be any blue flags here for Maloney. He doesn't have to get out the way of Jared Fieldstall here. Fieldstall with a 2:06.301. That's his first flyer there. So 2:06.381. Not his fastest lap of the race, certainly not far off. Just the 1/10 off his fastest 2:06.2 on lap 2. But Josh Rogers a 2:39.1. So comparing that back to Jared's 2:38, there's a second loss there. Plus with the new tyres, Bo Cubis is pitted because he's out of the race.
Yeah, so Josh Rogers lost some time there on if you compare the actual pit stop times and the outlaps from Fieldstall and Rogers. Fieldstall did a 38.6, Rogers did 39.1, so he has lost a bit of time there. But yeah, Jared Fieldstall 6.3, he is going and trying to charge away now on those fresh tyres.
Yeah, we've got a good battle back here as well with Richard Hampstead and Kane Cook-Meyer here. So the TTL ANZ cars continue their battle. They were certainly battling away for the lead, but they're also battling away here for position lower in the field. And I know some cars haven't pitted yet. Marlon is being one of them. He's pitted yet. So these guys will be putting on a battle here. So Kane, not sure he's made any gains of late on Richard. In fact, no, he hasn't. I think if anything, there's been a position change. Hampstead last lap of 2:06.8, if you don't mind. So that car looks absolutely mint. Doesn't look like it's been touched at all. So yeah, no doubt that will be rediscovered, and we'll be talking about that as time goes on, the incident between himself and Ian Ford. But Hampstead always looking quick and certainly looking menacing again.
Yeah, he's definitely starting. He's opening up that gap, mind you, to Kane Cougamara as well. So he's starting to gap that. But further up, just in P3 and 4 provisional after all the pit stops, it's Sam Sutton and Ian Ford, and Sam Sutton is now closing that gap back up. There was a positional change in the pits. Fordy jumped Sutton, but Sutton was gapping him before the stops, and it looks like he's starting to close up that gap right now. So who knows? And Marlon is in the pits as well, so pitting from the lead.
Yeah, so let's see if there's any gains there. Also, so net now will make Blake Coppo would be our leader. Except no, Corey Preston would be, Mick Cracknell would go further. Mick Cracknell would be our virtual leader, Corey Preston and Blake Coppo. So no blue flags waving here for Jake Maloney as he's got Jared Fieldstall making big gains.
Yeah, as this battle is on between Ian Ford and Sam Sutton down Mountain Straight. Sam Sutton on the inside looking down into Griffin's Bend now. He may have this as Fordy gives him the room, which is done. Good racecraft, and Sam Sutton through up into Provisional 3. So
I'm just watching Jake as he's letting Jared through, is he? Oh, that's awkward. That's really awkward. Wow. Yeah. How do you call that? Was he trying to do the right thing? I think he was. Was it clumsy? Hell yes it was, but tell you what, really, really good driving there by Jared to keep that off the track. And Josh Rogers pushing ever so hard, and that always makes the car unbalanced here as they go into the dipper. He's been able to bring that back, but significant gains this lap by Josh Rogers. His first flying lap out of the pits of 2:06.5, so a loss there in comparison with Jared at 2:06.1. So that is Fieldstall's fastest lap of the race, a 6:1.62. So new fastest lap of the race there on lap 12 for Jared Fieldstall.
Yeah, now he's actually got his teammate behind him, Maloney in front of him actually, mind you. He can get a bit of a draft now off him, but hopefully Maloney pits this lap, which I'd say he will. I don't think he wants to hold up Rogers at all at the moment and try and get him just a little bit closer to Fieldstall. It'd be good to see how much time Fieldstall lost, but he was definitely on it coming, as Maloney pit, so he was definitely on it going around the outside through Sullivan and Reed Park.
Yeah, and Blake Coppo has his first pit stop in a number of years as well. But up the front there, it's still Mick Cracknell in the SDC car just hanging in there, the car number 8. It's a virtual lead, it's not a realistic lead. Corey Preston keeps attracting controversy towards himself, doesn't he, young Corey? Corey, stay out of the forums, mate. Seriously, just let the admins do their job for Scops, my friend, and everything will be fine. But Jared Fieldstall, a 7.5 last lap compared to Josh Rogers' 6.7, so there's a big difference there. That was from Maloney letting Jared through. That can't be said any other way. It wasn't through, but it was in an awkward spot. But at the end of the day, it all worked out for him.
Yeah, they're lucky not to make contact, otherwise I think we'd still be talking about it right now. So they've all gotten away with it and they're moving on, but a little bit of time loss could just be what Josh Rogers needed just to get a little bit of a sniff. He's a little bit closer, but he's lost 3.6 seconds behind him now, so that was all lost in the pit stop, and it's just going to be hard for him to make it up, especially with Jared Filsell's pace, as we all know he's got.
Well, he has, and it's the consistency that he brings as well. But again, the guys are taking a lot of curbs, a lot of risks here. At the moment, it's racing, it's not too obvious to say, I guess, but Rogers is pushing as hard as he can to get to that draft of the Filsell car in front. Well, Filsell doesn't want that to happen, so he's going to hammer the tong as well to make sure he stays out. We're probably thinking about 1.5 seconds before that draft really comes into effect. So Rogers is going to have to keep pushing like mad here to get into that draft. And once he's in there, it's the old Death Star laser beam, what do they call it, the tractor beam. He'll get sucked straight into behind Filsell, no doubt. But Filsell's got to keep pushing hard to make sure he doesn't get into that draft.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think Filsell will want to just control now. Is just control that gap, because as soon as he gets in that draft, he's just going to pull right up behind him, and he definitely doesn't want that now. So if he can just control this lead, we'll look at the times now. So Filsell across the line did a 6.694 as Crackers and Preston pit, mind you, and then a 6.7 from Josh Rogers. So he only lost a tenth that time, but that all could come later on in the day.
You can tell me you love that Star Wars thing I said, didn't you? You love...
Yes, I did.
Yes, I know you do. You're a big Star Wars man, I know that. So yes, like you said, with Cracknell and Preston pitting, so really the race is opened right up again. What you see is what you get with positions here in Ford in fourth position. Marlon McMullen didn't drop that far back considering he held on for another 2 laps, so his tyres might hang in that little bit longer. Richard Hampstead just seems to have gapped Kane Kugamai ever so slightly. Conrad Garbowski, I don't think Conrad has pitted yet. Pretty sure he has him a 10.2 off pace for him. Fantastic to see the GTL team here running as well. And Crackers, after that pit stop, he will be extremely quick. His last lap was a 2.08, so certainly not too shabby there with the pit entry. And Matty Jones, I'm not sure whether Matty Jones has pitted. Having a look now. No, Matty Jones hasn't pitted, so big change here for Corey, because he's got Matty Jones, who's going to be off pace on older tyres a little bit. This is what the battle we'll be watching right now. It's the Jones car, the car 21 with Corey Preston, Mitchell Sealack and Blake Coppo. So all these cars, bar the leader of this pack, have pitted. So you're going to hope that Jones is going to stick in there. That Henlick car looks absolutely mint too, just quality. That car looks really, really good. But Preston, hopefully he won't get too impatient. Hopefully the car behind him and Mitchell Sealack, who has to be said, has probably been a bit off form in the last few weeks, has found a few walls. But it's just a temporary thing, I'm sure, with Mitch. He'll be right up there as Preston makes a bit of a lunge there into Forest. It's a pretty clean move. That takes a lot of cooperation from both drivers. So Preston through, Sealack will get that job done as well. And I would imagine even Blake Coppo, with that extra pace, he might get it done, certainly with the newer tyres. So there'll be Coppo and Jones going neck and neck into... Ooh, I reckon there's a slight net code there between Blake, and Blake's into the grass. He's going to have to pull that up. He's not only has he pulled it up, but he's actually got through Jones at the same time. Well, that's a novel approach for passing people in the chase. Get onto the grass.
Yeah, I don't know how he did that as Jones pits, so he just managed to pull that up. I was expecting him to do a Mark Winterborn and Stephen Richards, just fire it straight through the dirt and into the other side, but he managed to hold that up and got the spot done, so he's made the positional gain and moved up, but he's lost a bit of time to Sealack and Corey Preston at the moment.
Yeah, he has, but it's still good driving by all. Certainly didn't look like any contact there at all. So the Sealack Preston car head on their way up Mountain Straight. The 6-boost car, the ANZ car, and the ERA car all showing through pretty well here. But Corey has, I don't think he's done many races here this week. Had a incident, that was a Friday or a Saturday race with Marlon McMullen. Got a little bit twisted for a little while there. Certainly I think it was a racing incident, nothing intentional there by anyone. But these guys are still going on. We're only just reaching the halfway stage of the race. There's been so much action already, but we are only halfway.
Yeah, just on halfway mark, Jeremiah Morton has actually just gotten, I wouldn't say in the way, he moved out of the way of Jared Philsell, but he was in the worst, awkwardest position for Josh Rogers. It was actually 4/10 of a second quicker than Philsell the last lap, so he is gaining now. The gap is now 1.2 seconds. He will be in that draft, and here he comes.
Yeah, well, that's that magic number there, but like you said, with Jeremiah just being that little bit clumsy, certainly had the best intentions, but certainly a little bit clumsy. And this is what we were talking about before. I'm sure Jared had, the ANZ team, I think, had the best setup at Bathurst last year, and it showed with the lap times, plus what Jared can do behind the wheel. But the TTL guys have been hard at it all week, and I think, to be honest with you, as a team, that'll be congratulated. As a team, they're working really, really hard for Josh Rogers. I'm sure that they are doing whatever they can to get this kid up the front and get himself his maiden win. And once he has that maiden win, it's going to be very much like Ethan Grigalt, I would think. Ethan didn't win many races at start, then had that first win, and we've seen what's happened next. The confidence goes through the roof. And that's what I think TTL are aiming at, and if they are not, they should be, but I reckon they are.
Yeah, no, you just pulled another 2/10 out of Jared Philsell, so he's now within a second of Jared Philsell for this P1, and that, yeah, confidence is a massive thing. Once you get that first win, it just goes on from there, and every race seems easier, I'd say, as it goes on. So if he can pull this win out, and especially at Bathurst, like the hardest track that we go to, I know, matter of fact, I am a massive disliker of this track, but that's just me, and Philsell sideways through it, but yes, I'm just going to say that quietly. But if he can pull this in, he can maybe get it, and especially on this track, anything can happen from here.
Rest in peace, Jake Blackwell. You cannot say, no V8 supercar driver can say that they don't like Bathurst. They can say they might be sick of doing laps here. You can't say you don't like Bathurst. To me, it is the best car track combination on iRacing, and anyone listening outside of Australia, because in Australia we love our V8s. Normal Australians, Jake, love Bathurst. I challenge anyone out there, try and take on these Aussie hotshots if you get the chance. Take on the Jazz, take on the Josh Rogers, the Madison Downs, the Richard Hampsteads, the Ethan Grigolds, the Ian Fords, the Marlon McMullins. Take these guys on because they do a supreme job week in, week out in what is a really, really tough car to drive on what is a tough track.
Yeah, no matter of fact, Coppo are down in P12 and 11. Mitchell Sealack, they are now starting to close in on each other. So they've actually, Corey Preston has left him as Coppo is completely sideways through Forest Elbow. So he's just starting to close in on the back of Sealack. Sealack has lost some time, and this could be on. He could get another positional gauge Coppo here for a long time. He hasn't been running this car, so it's good to see him back.
Yeah, it is good to see him back. Blake will be very active, and we'll give a shout out too whilst we're here. It's a long race, we can afford to do that. Number one, the Sudden Death Racing team had their Bathurst 110 lap race last Friday night. Ian Ford and some fella, I can't remember his name, had a win there in front of, remind me, Josh Burden and Matty Ross Munro.
Yes,
I think it was.
Yes, it was.
Had a really good second. Yeah, a good job there. And Blake actually did that race and came fifth with some other fella I don't know. So a really well-run event. I'll tell you, there's another big event. I know Race Spot just did 29 hours of coverage over the weekend with the NEO Endurance and the iRacing Daytona 24-hour, but for the Aussie entrants in particular, starting this Saturday night, 7 o'clock Saturday night, through to 7 o'clock Sunday night, round one of the Australian Endurance Championship, again at Daytona. So keep your eyes open for that. I believe Redback Racing are doing the broadcast of that, so look forward to that. Some really, season 1 2016 has been a bit sleepy mode, Christmas, New Year's type thing. It's now really starting to open up again. So 2016 really comes alive. As of now, this is where it's at now, Bathurst. But then next weekend we go to 24 hours of Daytona for the Endurance Championship. Then looking forward to Scott starting February. Give me a date. They've got a
February the 12th.
Day,
the 12th is the test day, and 28th is the first round.
Yep. So keep your eyes for V8s online and get on board for that as well, because that really is, it is the cream of the cream of the V8s there, and look forward to that every couple of weeks. I think they're committing to, or every 2 or 3 weeks they're committing to doing races there. Up the front here, Josh Rogers has made that ground. We're talking about that elastic band stretching. It hasn't. It's compacted half a second across the line last time. Catching is one thing, passing is another. Mr. Murray Walker used to always say, never a truer word spoken. Conrad Gabowski finally has his pit stop there. So, wow, a 2:06.8 for
the same time.
2:06.845 for Jared Filsell. We're going to play Snap here, Jake. 2:06.845. Snap, you lose. Exactly the same times there. And behind them, Sammy Sutton and Ian Ford, a 2:07 for Sammy Sutton, and a 2:07.3 for Ian Ford. Yes.
Yeah, the field is just, they're all running the same times, but those two up front, identical lap times. It's showing the competitiveness of these two up front. He's pulled the gap in to half a second, but now, like you were saying, you can catch him. Now can you pass him? Filsell is all over sideways coming through Sullivan there. So if he can catch him now, it's just going to be where is he going to pass. It's just going to be the point of the matter of where. It's going to be hard to pass here, especially Jared Filsell. There's not a lot of weaknesses. One thing Josh would be looking for would be a weakness of Filsell right now. I don't think you can really find one, especially around Bathurst. It's one of those tracks that he excels at.
The difference is there's 1 lap difference between tyres. Might not make a hell of a lot of difference. It might not, but it just might. And Josh has made that ground now, and he's in a position now where if he drops off over the top, I reckon that whether it's set up or drivability or the driver itself, I think Jared is faster over the top. Actually, no, scrap that. I think he's faster coming down. I think Josh is faster going up. But any loss that Rogers makes going down, he makes up pretty quickly with that draft of that number 4 car in front.
Yeah, and that's especially where he can sort of afford to. I know for a fact it's hard sitting behind someone over the top of the mountain. You sort of lose your vision of where your corner sight, and that little bit of loss of vision can end drastically. You can put it in the wall. We all know what happened in the real V8s with Mostert just putting a little bit off because of what happened there. So that little bit of loss of vision, you can do that here, especially behind another car right underneath the rear wing. So a little bit of a drop off now. He's still got 13 laps to go. It seems like this has been on for 160 laps. So he's still got not long to go, 13 laps to go, and he's only lost a 10th that lap, so you can still bring that back in with the draft.
And the battle behind's getting close as well. The Ford and Sutton battle for 3rd place here. Neither of these guys are dropping away too much at the moment as well, but as much as I said there are plenty of passing opportunities here, it doesn't make it easy by any means, and a lot of the cars are getting such good drive out. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Jake, because you've probably been doing this longer than I have, but I'm sure that the level of not just the V8 drivers, because we know that that's gone through the roof. We know with the guys like Cielak and Rogers and Kugelmeyer and all these guys, I could go on, Ryan O'Sullivan, Sean Evans, I could name heaps of them, you know what I mean? Manny Ross Monroe, I could keep going. But I also think the amount of work going in each week to some teams, I'm not going to say all teams, I think the amount of work going into setups has also picked up as well. And these cars are just getting faster and faster.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The cars are just considerably getting faster, and that's what you want to see now. So I think also, the level of intensity is going up with each team. I think especially these top teams, they are starting to put in the hard yards, and look at the results you're getting now, especially this competitive field. The field now, like all these names, I think they can definitely compete with some of the best. As Rogers has a look down into the chase, he's definitely closing up to the back of Jared Filsell now. It is going to be on here as Filsell sideways out of the chase. Those tyres are only a lap older. They shouldn't be feeling as much pain as what it looks like. He's just driving the wheels off that thing at the moment.
I love watching Josh Rogers drive. Really, really super impressive stuff here. I said it last week, we've got the making of a new star. Well, I think he's here already, to be honest with you. And just jumping on to that TTL team has just pulled him forward leaps and bounds. Gut feeling, tell me if I'm wrong, that he ran as a privateer at Bathurst in the Scops series last year, came 7th, and I'll be honest with you, I should know but I don't, as to who his teammate was, but fantastic effort by Josh, and he's here and hereabouts, and I'd love to actually talk to him one day and actually see what his background is. No doubt he's pretty decent at the karting from what I understand. I don't know much more than that, but wow, right now he's all over the back of Jared Filsell, and Jared's not going to be hating this. He's going to be loving the fact that there's a challenge here, I can also tell you that right now, with the car number 1, Ethan Grigor, out, there is an opportunity to make significant gains this week on this.
Yeah, and that's the thing, this championship has just been blown out of the window now with Ethan having this unlucky result, unfortunate result here at Bathurst. So these two are both fighting for it, and they're both fighting for that championship. Like Jared said last week, he hasn't won one of these, even though he's won a V8 Scops championship and he's done a lot of other things in Scops and everything else, and the talent that he has shown. He hasn't managed to win an official series. He wants to do it, and we all know Josh Rogers, I don't think he has won a championship, and we know the talent that he's starting to bring. So if he can do this and hang with Jared Filsell there, I can't wait for Scops. Scops as well is going to be awesome, and I can't wait for this. Is just going to be awesome right now. We've still got 12 laps to go. It's anybody's race right now.
Yeah, well, they'll be pumping out the 250k races every few weeks, so a massively interesting race. I'm trying to find the right word here. The races that are put on. It's exciting from the start to the finish. I can tell you what, this isn't going to go away either, and this is certainly a sign of things to come for 2016. Super pumped for what 2016 has to offer, and I said it the other day somewhere on the V8 Americas that 2016 for the Australian iRacing community is going to be huge. We've got 4 teams but 5 cars in the Blancpain Endurance Series. 6 races there starting in April. That's going to be fantastic. So, you know, an 8th of the field is going to be Aussies. Riley Preston, who won, incidentally, the last race of the Formula 1 Road to Pro race. Congratulations to Riley Preston in winning that, the last race of the Williams ever. So ding dong, the witch is dead there. That was a horrible car. Get rid of that. The McLaren MP430C is all over that. So, you know, some really good things happening for the Aussies, but right now, more than ever right now, we've got a great race still going on here, and Josh Rogers has not gone away.
He's definitely not going away, and I think Filsell can feel, like you were saying before, I think Filsell is loving this at the moment. Someone right behind him pushing him along. Honestly, it's not something you'd see this early on. I don't think he was expecting earlier. It's not Scops yet, where there's like 40 odd cars that are qualifying each week within 8/10 to a second, a whole field of 40 cars, and now this is here on the big stage and official, and he is on it. Rogers is, they're both driving excellent. You can't fault them, I don't think, at the moment. They are both pushing to the limit. The cars are sideways. They're pushing. Jared just did a 6.9 last lap, evidently, and Josh Rogers did a 7 flat. So it's not like they have lost time. Josh Rogers' quickness was a 6.4 and Filsell's was a 6.2. So they're still on it on old tyres, and there's so many laps to go. Who knows where this is going to end? Who knows how it's just going to go down?
And let's not forget behind them, Sutton with a 6.8, Ford with a 7 flat, so matching the times of the guys in front, the two. So is this a turnaround? Have the guys up front gone too hard too early? I doubt it, I'll be honest with you. They've got fairly decently comfortable gaps. Well, 6 seconds, I guess, is as comfortable as you can be. But Ford now looks certainly the faster of the two. He's just dropped a bit of pace there on the exit of the chase, so Sutton getting some really good drive out. Still got to wrap my head around the fact that Sam Sutton's not in a Dayco car and in a TTL car. It still takes a little bit to take in. I think Sammy, from memory, goes away shortly to do some stuff with his army training. So first of all, congratulations and well done to Sammy for the job that he's chosen, and everyone here wishes him the best of luck. I think he's gone off to do some officer training, playing in the jungle. I know where he's going, but I won't tell everybody else. But that does sound like it's going to be interesting stuff for the next few weeks for Sam.
Yeah, that's good to see. It's, congratulations to him for doing that. It's not an easy job to do, and it's good to see some of the fellow iRacers as well going to do it. It'll be good to see him over there. But yeah, Ford hasn't dropped away from him either. So we all thought he passed him. Sam Sutton got past Ford, but Ford managed to reel him back in after that, even after the pit stop. So I don't know, this battle for 1, 2 and battle for 3, 4, it's going to keep going all the way to the finish.
Yeah, it is, and there's battles throughout here. Corey Preston and Blake Coppo are still going at it as well. Blake making gains. The skin of Blake's car hasn't come through on my screen at all. I'm not sure if it's come through anywhere else, but like I said, Blake doesn't do any racing really at all in the V8, so he probably just hasn't put it on. But yeah, this race is continued. This battle's continued as well, and what's this? This is a battle for 9th and 10th. So these guys have made their way steadily through the field Corey started in 10th position, but Blake started in 14th. So outstanding work there by these two, and keeping their cars clean and keeping them going forward, making gains.
He's just making gains. He actually passed Sealak not long ago, a couple of laps ago. We were talking about him being behind Sealak, so he's actually passed Sealak and made the ground up on Corey Preston. So Blake Coppo is charging through this field at the moment. He's been setting quicker laps every lap so far on Corey Preston as he's sideways coming through the S's. He managed to regather it without hitting anything and get back going. Lost a bit of time to Corey Preston, but he was lucky not to hit anything, because if he hit one of those walls, that would have been race over.
Yeah, it would have. And the battle for 7th place, someone tells me, is closing as well. So thank you to Jason Dixon for that. Oh, nah, Jace, you've thrown us a furphy there, mate. Sorry, it's not closing at all. Hampstead comfortably is 6th. Kane Coogan-Meyer 7th at 7.5, and Mick Cracknell at 7.3. So little gains there, Jason. One of our spectators just dropped that, but certainly not where we're aiming at the moment.
Yes, Maloney on Sealak right now coming into the chase. He looked down the inside. Sealak gave him the room. Sealak still on the inside into the chase, and he got it done around the outside. So Maloney up into P11 and Sealak down into P12, and may have some damage, unsure, because he's certainly lost a lot of pace.
If I'm seeing what I'm seeing here, now Jake's completely botched up the entry there to Murray's corner there. I think Jake and the world of social media are all at one here tonight. He's driving his car and he's adding a few comments here and there on the thread or on the chat on the broadcast tonight. So keep it up, Jake. It's certainly making it interesting, mate. But Mitchell Sealak's got a really good run on you right now, and gains are going to be made. I don't think he's going to get there before the corner. Late under brakes by Mitch, no, but gee, that's a really narrow entry there by Jake. He's been able to hang on to that again. I think it's the first time we've seen Jake in the TTL colours tonight. So again, it's hard to send me out of the car except for Dayco, but this is a really, really good battle going on, as is the battle back with 3rd and 4th, Sutton and Ford. This is another battle that hasn't gone away. So the TTL guys have really, really come in numbers this week. It's fantastic to see. Great to see a couple of these TTR cars get in there amongst it, and then we could have some see where they're at as well. But Ian Ford just a bit skippy over the curbs there and all. That's just going to make the car unbalanced as they enter here, exiting the chase. Pretty decent drive out by Ford. I reckon his car's a little bit in better position setup wise, or certainly tyre wise, than the car in front at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like you may have a better tyre life on this car at the moment. The car looks to have a bit of damage on my screen, most probably netcode. So the car looks pretty straight in the steering, so he's still going on, but he's all over the back of Sam Sutton at the moment. But just back to the lead group, the gap has actually opened up a little bit, not much, but it has opened up. It's 0.7 of a second now. So I don't know, Josh maybe pulling the tyres off, or has Phil Self just upped it that little bit? I don't know.
Well,
who knows? It's there.
I'll ask you this, Jake. I'll ask you this. Have a look at their last lap times and tell me all about it.
Well, you got a 7.2 from Phil Cell, and you had a
7.2 what?
7.203 and a 7.203. They are on it again, so I don't know. They're running the same identical lap speed at the moment. You just can't fault them. They're both just on the limit.
So that's twice in the last 5 laps. These guys have run identical times to the thousandth of a second. We say probably for the last 3 or 4 weeks at every race that Josh Rogers gets better. And I'll be honest with you, if he puts it into the wall now, I don't want him to see it into the wall, but if he did, I would still say that right now this is his finest drive. He's had a third, he's had a second, he's had a couple of poles, but right now this is his finest drive, and he's done an outstanding job.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He will definitely equal his best result of second, like he got last week. And yeah, this is one of the seconds I think he would rather. And it's sort of like a win to him, I'd say. It's an awesome drive. He can still see Phil Cell. He's still there. If he can just get a couple of laps, maybe a little mistake from Phil Cell, which never happens. It's hard to see a mistake from Phil Cell. If that happens, he can definitely make it. As we look back to Sutton and Ford, it's closing up now.
The chase.
Yeah,
it's positioned the same, although Sam very light there on the exit, so he's actually going to be he just lost that bit of traction on the exit of the chase there, but defended himself really well. good racecraft there by Ian Ford. Didn't clean up, Sam, because there was a significant speed difference there. So did that car go off in front? Have I? No, I didn't. Sorry, but gee whiz, on net code again. This racing is too good to have bad net code. It's way too good and too close to have bad net code. I'm hearing cars hitting walls and screeching all over the place. But this is, I think, going to keep going this battle to the end of the race. 2:08.125 or 1:34 for Sam. I've got no doubt whatsoever, though, that Ford is being held up by Sam Sutton. Not significantly, but just enough to make a nuisance. And these cars, neither of them have any damage on them whatsoever.
Yeah, these two actually all the damage has fixed itself on Ford's car that he had a moment ago. So they're both clean looking race cars and they are both challenging for this podium position. But just back to the comments, Hampstead is getting caught right now by Kane Kugami, not much, but they are both actually closing in on Hampstead. So I don't know whether that damage he may have had or whatever's happened now, but they are closing in on him back there for P number 6. So that is correct. But yeah, Ford, I don't know, he's lost a bit of ground over the top right now to Sutton. So if he can make it up, he may have another crack, but I don't know whether he's getting held up. If he is a little bit, but not much at all.
See, is it a setup thing, as we said before, that I think Josh Rogers is faster than Jared going up, but not as fast going down? I think the same here with Sam Sutton and Ford. I'm sure that Sam is faster going up, but Ford is significantly faster going down. But like I said, any loss that Ford makes, as in comparison with Josh Rogers, any loss that they make is certainly gained downstairs as they go down to Conrod. We've got a little mention here from Tyson Williams. The ping is dreadful. We know, Tyson. We've mentioned it, mate. We'll keep talking about it until I'm blue in the face, which I'm getting kind of a shade there right now.
Yeah, it's definitely dreadful. We all know it's dreadful, so we're just going to live with it. But the setup, I think you can have a setup that's good over the top, better going down through the S's, through the dipper as well. Also, you can have a better car setup. This track, it's so hard to set up a car for. It's not just throw everything at it. The turns are left, the turns are right. There's the elevation changes and mix of everything here. This track does bring it all up, but Ford definitely closes in down the bottom. He's all the back to the bumper of Sam Sutton now coming down the front straight into Hell Corner. So I don't know whether he's just going to keep it up there for the rest of the race.
Okay, so Jared pitted at lap 10, we know. Josh Rogers pitted at lap 11, same lap as Sutton and Ford behind. The tyres right now in this track temperature, like we said, 43 degree track temperature, partly cloudy, fairly strong wind too, must be said. The tyres are starting to hurt right now. Right now is all about how well you've looked after your tyres during this stint, and I reckon that Jared and Josh have absolutely annihilated theirs. But there comes into 1A is what kind of setup have they got? Has their setup been good enough to let their tyres hang in there? Talking about the camber in the cars, or all these little things that we know of that either look after tyres, you sacrifice tyres and make up speed, that type of thing. Jared just at the moment is showing a little bit more experience and just looks that little bit more smooth at the moment. Even though he pitted that one lap earlier, it just looks that little bit cleaner. But saying that, I think Josh Rogers is driving the absolute wheels off that Pagnian TTL car behind.
Oh, he definitely is. He's driving the wheels off. As he gained 3 tenths last time, he ran a bit wide there at Forest Elbow, but managed to recover. But yeah, he was 3 tenths faster last lap today. So it's just the tyres. They have driven the tyres off of this thing. I don't know whether there'd be any tyres left. If we had tyre degradation and actual visible tyres, I think there wouldn't be much tyre left. I think we'd be down to the metal wire in it. So they have been pushing it and they are not giving up now. There's not long to go, about 5 laps when they cross the line. So it's just going to come down to the wire, really.
Well, the wire on the tyres maybe, as you said, but let's look at the difference here. 6.361 on Jared's exit from his pit stop, and consistent sixes. His last lap a 7.5. This one now, as close as can be to a 7.4, that it doesn't make any difference. So we know that Jared's tyres are hurting. We also know to a point a 7.4.5 for Josh Rogers. We know his tyres are hurting. What are the guys behind doing? Ian Ford at 8.1. There's a drop there. 7.2. 7.2 for Sam Sutton, the fastest lap of the field in the last track lap.
Yeah, as we've got a battle with Corey Preston now and Blake Coppo. So the battle has ignited as we thought it would, as Coppo caught him, and he's still all over the back of Corey Preston. They're coming down into the final corner now, Murray's corner. And he's gonna have very late on the brakes there from Coppo and nearly collected the back of Corey Preston. and I think they've both gotten away there without any damage, but that was too close.
Yeah, well, no matter what happens this race, all Blake's going to be worrying about tonight is that, what's that IGP manager thing? Or he just had a race win and that. You'll be happy to know. So, win, lose or draw this, he'll be happy at his first win of the season and that. He'll just started as well. So, yeah, but look at the difference that made, though. Just going that little bit too deep in Murray. Certainly dropped a lot of speed on the pitch straight. And now, you know, he's gone from right behind him. And already in that little move there, dropped maybe 1.5 seconds behind easily now. So maybe that's just the gap that Corey Preston needed just to get Blake away from that draft. Up the front also, sorry, there's a little battle developing here, which I got to admit surprises me a little bit. Richard Hampstead with 208.6. Followed by Kane Kugamai at 207.6 and Mick Cracknell, the last of the guys to pit in this bunch at 207.4. So these three here, this is a battle for 6th, 7th and 8th. And in order, Hampstead pitted before Kugamai, who pitted well before Mick Cracknell. So you'd think here that Cracknell might hold some high ground here, but whether he's got the outright pace to go through these two, don't know yet.
Yeah, well, I think Hampstead has got some damage. Unsure whether it's related to the Ford incident. I doubt it. It may be related to after his pit stop because he has lost. He's been losing considerable amounts of time to Kane and Crackers behind him, and it's just showing now that they are now all over the back of him through the chase as they come down to Murray's corner. I think they will get around Hampstead, but yeah, Crackers definitely has the fresher tyres. Whether they can get down through past these two guys, I don't know.
We've got to remember that Richard pitted on lap 9, so he's done the longest stint out of everybody. What lap did Crackers pit at? Crackers pitted on lap 15.
Lap 15.
That's a 6-lap difference there. That's significant, and you can see on the exit of Hell Corner there, the rear of Hampstead just looked like it had no traction at all. And let's just get on board with Mick Cracknell as he goes around the outside, if you don't mind, of Kane Kugamai. Will he get this to stick here as they get to turn 2? Kane deep under brakes. Not sure they needed to be doing that because Richard Hampstead in front's going to be having a bit of a giggle, but clean driving throughout there. So if anything, gains look like they were made there, and Hampstead hasn't been able to get away. So, geez, boys, maybe you should break that late more often because significant gains were made.
Yeah, they've just gained a lot of time to Richard Hampstead, which makes me think he has damage. I know I had damage in the early race before, and it was harder to turn through turn 2 because of the damage I had, and I lost considerable amounts of time. So maybe Hampstead's having that thing, even though Kane ran it a bit deeper in there, he'd still gained ground on Hampstead. So he could be following the same issue as I had before with damage, which could lead to why he has been dropping off time lately in the past couple of laps.
And going back as well, Blake Coppo has finally been able to get through I'm not sure whether Corey hit the wall. Yeah, he did.
He did.
So whether there was something that happened beforehand that may have affected Corey's steering, don't know. But Blake was, as we said last time we saw these two, we were 1.5 seconds behind it. The next time we see them...
sorry, Brenton, he's had a mistake through the chase. He got late on the grass and it actually lost the rear end into the chase and he ran it deep, so that's where the position was gained there.
I'm going to crack a funny here and he's going to be insulted, I don't want to be, but I don't think anyone could ever accuse Corey of being late on the grass. Boom, boom. Corey, I don't want to joke. Don't worry about it, don't say it. It's a funny one. People are laughing right now. But yeah, so it's a shame for Corey that he's hit that wall there. And that's going to be significant damage there. Jake Maloney and Jeremiah Morton, and certainly Mitchell Searlack will be the benefactors of that. Jeremiah Morton, no, he won't, because seven laps down for Jeremiah. He's obviously had more than his fair share of problems.
Yeah,
but look at this battle here.
Yeah, so Kane has actually gotten past Hampstead, and so has Cracknell. They got past him into turn the final corner, Murray's, and into Hell Corner. So they both got that job done. Hampstead has lost from 6th position down to 8th in a matter of 2 corners.
Yeah, I think Rich's tyres are just screaming enough's enough. I don't know if he's lacking any straight line speed. On my screen, it looks like he's got a bit of damage to the front left. That doesn't mean it's there, if you know what I mean. Because on Kane's car, it looks like the front of his car on my screen is missing damage to the left and to the right. And Cracker's car looks as clean as. This is not going to go away though, because I think the fastest car out of these three is the car in the middle, the Mick Cracknell car, the car number 8. So looking forward to seeing. I just think Rich is going to struggle to hang on to these two now that they've been released in a way. we're talking Richard Hampstead here. He's no slouch. His racecraft is awesome, and all of a sudden I've got damage on Mick Cracknell's car as well. I know he hasn't hit anything. But, let's see if Rich can keep up with these two. Let's see how Kane can handle having the clear air in front of him. He hasn't got anyone to use as a guide for braking points anymore. Kane's quick enough, he doesn't normally need that. But you get into that rhythm. You start getting used to being behind the car and on your own. You think, maybe I could have braked a bit deeper here, and all of a sudden you find yourself in the marbles and away you go. Cracker's got a really, really good drive out of that corner there at Forest Elbow as they end up on the Conroy Straight.
Yeah, he looks like he'll be definitely having attack down into the chase. He's definitely all over the back of Kane right now as Kane goes defensive into the chase. They're side by side. They're both late on the brakes. Crackers is still having a look. He may get this done. He's still going to hang it tough. Kane on the outside as they come down into Murray's. Hampstead's just sitting behind here just hoping he can pick something up as he's just caught the back of them, and Crackers still there. He's going to have another look down into the inside of Murray's corner. I think he may have got Kane's still hanging it there. He's still there though. Now he's come back, so he's having another look. Kane with a switchback.
Now it's over.
Yep, but Hampstead now on the outside.
And now, and I honestly thought that Crackers might be away there because the entry and the exit for Kane was certainly compromised with Hampstead there having an attack as well. But these three guys are running neck and neck. Certainly Crackers here holding the high ground. Just that little hook puts Kane that little bit wide into the marbles as Hampstead is through. So good old Richie Hampstead, he's not old, but he's showing a ton of experience there. He hasn't lied down and given up on this battle. He's got the oldest tyres out of the three of them, still hanging in there. And I'll tell you what, I think Crackers would actually be quite happy. It's going to sound a bit silly, but he'd probably be happy to have Richard Hampstead behind him right now than Kane Kugamaya, because Kane's tyres are just that little bit newer, but Hampstead just looks like he's completely revived at the moment. So we'll be interested to see now that Crackers leads this pack. It's only last lap that Kugamaya was leading these three. Look at it, it's turned around completely. So they're shuffling around these three a little bit. We're on lap 31, so we're running out of laps here. It's just been non-stop action, as it is every time we come to this place. It puts on great racing week in, week out.
Yeah, it's been a great race. The entire 31 laps so far have been awesome. And yeah, it's good. It's funny to see how a battle can just relive the tyres and it's all on. But Ford and Marlon are very close. And Marlon was actually having a look down there into the chase. He got it all locked up and then just nearly collected him, but regathered it and kept going. So I think Ford has definitely lost the pace with the tyres now, and that's it. And I think Marlon is definitely got the pressure tyres.
I can't help but think Ford's got some damage here because 209 flat. I don't think that's just tyres. I'm thinking there's a slight mistake, half spin or something, because the fact that
I'm just on board.
205.
I'm just on board now, Brenton, and he does have a little bit left hand down. So there is definitely some bend steering in Ian Ford's car.
Yeah, so he's got to hang on for another lap and 3/4 of this magnificent 6.21 kilometre track, just so famous in this country. It really is the mecca of motorsport here, and they use it the right amount. They don't overuse this track. They tried years ago to run the V8 Supercars series, the Sprint series here, and it didn't work. People wanted it, called for it. When they did it, it didn't work. But this battle's not going to go away. Ian Ford and Marlon McMullen, what would you do if you're Ian Ford? Do you put up this and keep battling in there with the risk of putting it into a wall? If you put it into a wall from here, you go from 4th, potentially drop to 5th, all the way down to probably 13th. But at the same time, Marlon McMullen's not looking too, well, I'm not going to say he's not looking clean, because he is. And he's just racing the absolute tonk off that thing. And again, he just looks like he might have a little bit of damage as well.
Yeah, I don't know whether he has any damage, but yeah, he's definitely just driving the wheels off that car at the moment. He was sideways coming through the out of the cutting this lap, and he's not backing down from 40 right now. He's going to have another look, most possibly down into the chase. Ford's car is all over this place at the moment, so I think that damage isn't helping him. He's right in that draft right now. He can maybe definitely have a look going down Conrod Straight. Yep, he's going to have the side. He's on this. He's going to actually get him before the chase.
He'll be through it.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that just shows that any damage that Ford has isn't just to the steering, it's also to the aero. So a patient game there by Marlon. Well done to him. Promotes him to 4th. Ian Ford in 5th. We've got the 1 lap to go with our leaders. in the back behind. In the meantime, Crackers has just drawn that little bit out from the Battle of Hampstead and Kugamai. Expect him to hang on to that. Blake Coppo, hats off to him. We'll talk about him. Actually, what the hell, talk about him now. The Evolution Racing Australia driver, yeah, the ERA, rah-rah. But this guy doesn't drive V8, so for him to be in 9th position with limited track time is outstanding. Corey Preston's still going around. Didn't catch his last... I'm thinking Corey's got a meatball flag because the last 3 laps haven't registered and the next lap won't register either, so the meatball flag, if he stopped, it would be all over. And Jake Maloney is also letting Jeremiah Morton just unlap himself there, no drums there. Mitchell Sealak's making good gains there.
Yeah, as we just move to the battle of the front, battle of the lead, as is the last lap, Phil Sell has succumbed to the pressure. Like, he's just been not succumbed to it. That's the wrong word. You know the word I was looking for. He's been
the race isn't over yet.
Driving this. It's not over yet. He's definitely hold on for the pressure. If you can hold on for half a lap, you can have this one. Rogers is pushing this car all over the track at the moment, but he is still there. Great drive from both of these two, and it's all going to come down to this as they come down Mount Conrad Straight for last time.
When you said succumb to the pressure, I had to look pretty quickly and expect to see the number 4 ANZ car into a wall. Trying to break the draft. Who knows? One of these guys might cough late. They might not have put enough fuel in. They're just trying to go hard at it and see how long they can go. You wouldn't think so. Geez, you'd hope not. Because right now, as they enter the chase for the last time, I think the result is justified. If Jared Filsell takes this flag, he deserves a win. But Josh Rogers at the same time deserves to be as close to behind Jared Filsell as well. And TTL have got some questions to ask when they put their cars in the Enduro Series. Last turn, Josh Rogers extremely deep. Jared Filsell will win round 6 here at Bathurst Mount Panorama for the official iRacing V8 Supercar Series. Josh Rogers, outstanding drive, not just by Josh but by Jared as well. 2nd place, getting behind Sam Sutton. A super consistent job for Sammy in 3rd place. Loves this track, we know. Marlon McMullen, 4th place. Well done to him. Ian Ford, yeah, he's all over the place, unfortunately. Brings it home in a dusty 5th. Mick Cracknell, good hounds there in 6th position. And a late battle here with Richard Hampstead and Kane. And Hampstead showing all of that experience and more will come home in 7th place ahead of Kane Kugamaya. Blake Coppo, we talked about. Corey Preston, he's done 4 laps with a black flag. This is his 5th. Tell me if I'm wrong here. He's going to get disqualified and this lap won't count. Is that right? I'm not going to call him
90% sure with that. I don't know, but did he? Yes, alright, his laps hasn't counted, but isn't a meatball, I'm sure. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Thank you, Hugo. He may get a time penalty because he has finished the race, so unsure on that. We'll see how the results finish up with that.
Yeah, so a good drive by Corey. Made that mistake, but a tentative 10th, we'll say. Jeremiah Morton across in 15th place. To be disappointed there. Jake Maloney. That car looks completely wrecked, Jake. Don't have to worry about overheating the engine with that, mate. There's nothing left of it. And Mitchell Sealak was continued to make ground there at the end. Didn't see what happened to Mitch in the early stages, but up into 12th or down to 12th. However you look at it, Matty Jones will come 14th. And this guy here, we'll just watch him for the last bit there, Mr. Director Conrad Garbowski in the GTL car. Normally Marcus Elias will bring this team out. So a good finish here coming for Conrad.
Yeah, good result there, as we will actually run through the final results for round 6 at Bathurst. We have great race from these two. Jared Filsell, winner of round 6, with Josh Rogers a close second. They were like that for the entire race, nose to tail. Sam Sutton, 3rd, very consistent 3rd place there from Sam. Marlon McMullen, 4th. Ian Ford with damage, looked like later on, finishing 5th. Michael Cracknell, Richard Hampstead and Kei Gumia, 6th, 7th and 8th. Blake Coppo, good result in 9th. And Corey Preston, unsure about that P10. We'll have to see what happens in post-race results and everything like that. Maloney in 11th. Mitchell Sealak 12th, Conrad Garbowski in P13. That was the final of the lead lap cars and the cars that were multiple laps down and not finishing the race, with Matt Jones, Jeremiah Morton, Bo Cubis, Hayden Dodman, Josh Burden, Ethan Grigalt, Martin Carroll and Michael Hammond.
I'm not sure Conrad actually finished the race because his engine blew and he rolled into pit lane there. I don't think he had enough momentum to cross the line, and actually there you go. It's actually listed him as being that lap down. So, wow, what a fantastic race. Came 13th officially. A really, really good race. We've already got guys lining up for interviews tonight. What time is it now? 20 to 10. I know there's another race coming up shortly. So let's just start off the interviews. Oh, there's a couple of people lining up. No, they're not there yet. But Jake, what a fantastic race, and really, really good action at the front there with Jared Fieldstewart and Josh Rogers. Put on an absolutely outstanding effort.
Oh yeah, that was an awesome race. I think that was another one to showcase for the years to come. That was on for the entire season, for the entire race, and that's the thing we got to look for the entire season as well. I think Rogers, Phil Sell, you mix it up with some TTR cars as well as a couple of other top-notch drivers. I think it's going to be on. This 2016 year for V8 Supercars is going to be, I think, the closest we've had ever. I think it's just going to be firecrackers the entire year.
Yeah. And I tell you what, because teams like TTL and TTR, who, and I said this to the boys last week, I think it was, they were a bit of a closed shop for a while. They had their team and a strong team. They opened up their doors and they let the young guys like Josh Rogers in and Brock Salmon in TTR, and those teams, they'll say themselves, they've got better. You know, they've got the fresh blood in there, and they're as keen as all heck, aren't they? So it's great to have extra people in. We're going to run through some interviews here. We'll start off with Mick Cracknell. Mick, what did you come tonight? 6th, mate. Well done to you. Mate, 9th on the grid, 6th in the race, stopped later than anyone. You must be pretty happy that last few laps, the battle with Richard Hampstead and Kane Kukamai. Plenty of airtime, mate. Make sure you get the chance to have a look at that. But, mate, tell us a bit about the race.
Hey, cheers, Brendan. How you going, guys? Yeah, it was a pretty good race. I was a lot better than what I thought when I came out of the pit stop. It was, see if I could sort of keep with Kane and maybe eat into the gap, and then I think Richard might have had damage. So he was sort of backing up into both of us, and it created a really good 3-car battle towards the end. So yeah, I was really happy to sort of get the better of it in the end.
And mate, leaving your pit stop late, what was the tactics behind that?
I just wanted to have tyres for the end. Like, the lap times were sort of, I was slowing down, but I wasn't slowing down enough to warrant coming in and then just running on really old tyres at the end. I just felt like, if I had tyres at the end, I might have been able to do something, and I think that might have paid off.
And mate, Bathurst, always a favourite, not just obviously with yourself, but with plenty other guys here in the Australian iRacing community. Mate, what do you love about this place? If you do, you might not. You might be like my little friend here, Jake, who just can't stand it. But what about yourself?
It's just so iconic. Like, I've been watching Bathurst since I was 5 years old, so to be actually running around doing this in such a realistic game is you got to love it.
Did you hear that, Jake? You have to love it, mate.
We'll
keep. Crackers has talked. He's done. He said he loves it. I said I loved it. 2 out of 3 Australians here say they love it. Crackers, mate, good job tonight. Oran Park next week. Your thoughts on that?
Oran Park. I don't mind Oran Park. I don't think I'm that good there, but I don't mind it. It's definitely different to Bathurst. Like, it's about a third of the size, so it should be a fun little race around there.
Mate, yeah, it was a good job tonight, mate. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to at all?
Just all the boys at SDC. Put in a little bit of work this week, more than what we have in the past few weeks. So just those guys and KSW Painting.
Mate, yeah, a bit of a hit for poor old Ethan tonight. Didn't get the quality time in. Bloody awful netcode he received tonight. It was disappointing, and no doubt he's told you about that on his TS channel, but no doubt he'll fight back next week.
Yeah, definitely. Like, qualifying with this 2-lap format, it's really tough. It bit me last week at Spa, and it bit Ethan this week. So, look, I think he'll learn from it, and I don't think he'll do that again.
No, he won't. Mick Cracknell, thanks so much, mate, and good luck next week for what will be round 7 of the official V8 Supercar Championship, brought to you here by RaceSpot TV.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
We're going to get Rich Hampstead. I'm a big fan of this guy, Richard Hampstead. Welcome to the broadcast, mate. 7th. tonight from 5th on the grid. Incident with Ian Ford there, mate. Probably not what you're after. Tell us a bit about that. It looked like to us that there was netcode originally with yourself, and because of that you backed off the pace, and then he's taken you fairly decently in the back. But by saying that, neither car looked like it had damage, but that was what we saw. How did it feel from your side of the fence?
Oh, well, how's it going, guys? Yeah, like you say, not the best race for me. Look, to be honest, from my side of the fence, I feel I was intentionally wrecked. Basically, he just hit me mid-corner, then kept the throttle, turned around, didn't apologise, didn't redress, so bit of a shame. He's just hurt his already pretty poor reputation. He's hurt the reputation of his team. So I really hope his team have a good talking to him, because that stuff's just not on, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, no doubt his team will have a good look at that, and no doubt his team will have a chat, because, as we called at the time, it's not what we want in the racing at all. And no doubt, like I said, that was a quick replay we looked at, obviously covering it. So we'll tell you that his team will have a look at that, and we don't want to see that. Later on, though, Rich, the car looked like it was pretty suited on, mate. You pitted lap 9 nice and early, but the battle at the end there with Mick Crackdown and Kane Kugamaya looked like an absolute doozy.
Yeah, well, apart from the incident, I had a pretty good race, to be honest. I made a bit of a mistake in quali. I probably was on for, would have been at least polar on the front row, and I locked the rears at the forests, and it just blew my lap completely. So yeah, started 5th. Had a good battle with Sam and that, and was just pacing myself, really just seeing what was happening, and then unfortunately had the incident. And then the goal was just to try to get as high a spot as I could in the race. Pitted so I could undercut a couple of people that worked on Kane and Crackers, I believe, and it was going pretty well, and then I just stuffed up and hit the wall. So that hurt my car pretty badly, and I was a bit of a sitting duck at the end. And just tried to hold on to as many places as I could.
Hang on, Jake, you to take over. There's something in the background here, mate.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I thought you had damage later on in the race as well, Richard. I did see that, and that would have been where you've lost the ground to those two. But besides that, it was a great race. On to next week, we do have Oran Park. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to be racing at this stage. I'm going away next weekend, but I love Oran Park, so if I'm free, I definitely will try to make it.
Sorry, mate, back again. Young fella had problems with his computer, which means the whole world has to stop for a while. Oran Park next week. Rich, I just want to talk quickly, as we talked about Josh last week. The TTL guys look like they put a lot of effort into the setup and a bit of work this week. I would imagine trying to get Josh up there even closer, mate. Good driver getting by himself tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we put a lot of effort in, because I whacked on the V8 scope setup that I used Bathurst last year, which was actually, I thought it was a very good setup, and just for some reason it didn't work. I don't know if the physics have changed or what, but it was just pretty atrocious through some of the slow speed corners. So we had to put a lot of effort to try to get it to a standard where we could all hopefully take on Jared. And Josh seemed to have the pace of him, but just didn't have track position, which is a bit disappointing. But I have no doubt at all that he will get there, and I think he'll probably do it this season. So yeah,
it's going to happen. No doubt at all. Rich, mate, thanks for tonight. Good effort tonight. Unfortunately, I don't know the best you can be sure, but absolutely. Looks like Jake will be the one looking. Over to you, Jake.
That's all good. Anyone would like to thank after Richard? You all good? Anyone you'd like to thank there, Richard?
Just as usual, my sponsors are Pagny and Imports. And my teammate Josh, Sam, and Jake. We put in a fair bit of effort this week, and and you guys for the broadcast as always. Yeah,
thank you. Good drive there, Richard. Who else are you going to bring in, Brenton? Who would you like to bring in?
Well, obviously the advice I gave to my son about his computer didn't work. So Jake, I think over to you with Ian Ford, and I'll just sit by because my internet's playing up.
Okay. Ian, unlucky result there, P5. You had a little bit of contact as well with Richard Hampstead early on in that race. We've heard his side, we've heard a lot of sides. Do you want to run us through what happened there going into the chase?
Nothing really happened through the chase. Just
tried getting a run on him, heading through like that corner, and tried getting a run down the next little straight. And I don't know if he started losing it or if it was net code or something, but he's definitely far away from my car on my screen, and he just started losing the rear end, and then he jammed on the brakes, and that's when the majority of contact was made. So, I don't know if he just started losing it or if, netcode just started pushing him a little bit, because I tried to keep it as clean as I could. And other than that, yeah, I'm more concerned with the walls that I hit later on in the race. They seem to do the most damage, so I'm just happy to survive and finish 5th. Yeah, run us through what happened there. You were behind Sam Sutton, and then all of a sudden you lost a lot of ground. It actually allowed Marlon McMullen to pass you as well later on in that race. So I didn't actually quite catch that. I knew you were started to drop a lot of pace, and I had a look. You did have some right-hand damage. Was that from an incident with one of the walls? Yeah, I was trying to hustle the car down the hill as fast as I could. That way I was on, as close as I could be to Sam down the back straight, down to Conrod. And, I just hit the left-hand side at the dipper, hit the right-hand side just before Forest Elbow, and then I managed to tail slap Forest Elbow pretty hard. So I just threw the wheel completely out of whack, and, it was more of a guessing game for there on to try and figure out where the car was going to turn, where it wasn't. And just had to set the bars pretty crazily and just slide the car around a lot to make sure I made it home. Yeah, so P5, it's not the best result that you would have been looking for, but still. You move on to next week with 39 laps around Oran Park. How do you think the car's going to go there? It's definitely a different track to Bathurst, definitely one you got a different setup for. So how do you think you're going to attack it next week? Yeah, I'm just going to do the same as always, just flat stick, and hopefully it all works out in the end. And it's going to be insanely close racing for however many laps we got there, and I hope we don't have any of this hot weather, because a sliding car around Oran Park is definitely not fun. Yeah, well, I hope we don't have any of the ping issues either. I hope some of that netcode can disappear, because it definitely ruins some of the racing we want on an Australian server. Who cares? But we'll never get that. We can't always ask for it. So, good result tonight. Unlucky about the incident. Move forward to next week, and we'll hope anyone you'd like to thank as well before we let you go. Just you guys at Race Spot. Hugo for sticking around and waking up early in the morning and everything, and doing the cameras, all that sort of thing. And just Maverick Welding sponsoring the car. There probably wasn't an actual Maverick Welding sign left on the car by the end, but got a shout out to them for letting us do this every week. Thank you, 40. All right. Next one, I don't know whether Brenton is back now. If he's back, no, I haven't heard from him.
No, I think the young fella's downloading some update, mate, if you can hear me. So
I can hear you well. Your sound actually sounds good now.
Well, thank you very much. My wife thinks the same. But I'll let you go, mate, because my young fella's downloading some bloody game or something. That's what the problem was before, so you keep going. All
right, I'll move on to our P4. For today in P4, we have Marlon McMullen. Welcome to the com booth, Race Spot commentary booth. How was your race? It looked like you had a clean race there, pretty much just conservative out of the bunch. Had a past Ian Ford late in the race after his damage. Tell us about it.
Yeah, g'day guys. Yeah, that was pretty much just the strategy today. Just try and be pretty much, one of those survival races, as I always say, around Bathurst. So just try to go out there, keep it nice and clean. Just try to, watch out for that ping, because you never want to be part of that little incident. And yeah, I was able to pick myself around. I think it was Richard who went off pretty early on. Not sure what happened to Van. And just pretty much tried to put my head down, and just sort of kept on keeping momentum with Ian until the pit stops. So yeah, once the pit stops came around, I was pretty happy with how the car was feeling, and I just kept on powering it to the end, trying to keep that gap to Richard Hampstead, who was working as hard as he could to catch back up to us. And once Ian hit the walls, sort of just made the job a little bit easier. And had to go at him the first time down at the end of the chase, and made a bit of a whoopsie, because I went on the other side of the track, not really used to doing that. And I had a really good battle with him towards the end. So it's a pretty quiet race, but yeah, pretty consistent, so happy.
Yeah, it was a good result from you, P4. It's usually unusual seeing you here, usually running in the America Series as well. So it's good to see you come and run the Monday nights a couple of weeks now. Next week as well, we move on to Oran Park. Different track to Bathurst as well. It's not one of those ones where you're just pushing on the limit 24/7, which you always are, but that one's got wars. Oran Park doesn't have as many. How are you guys going to attack it next week if you're going to be there? I know you'll be running the America race.
Oh, it doesn't have walls, I tell you, but it does have a tricky turn one and a few other corners to negotiate. But it's a great track. It's a really obviously a tight circuit. It's a really small circuit as well, and yeah, it just always seems to promote really good close racing. But usually everyone sort of just bunches out and they go in their little twos or their little threes in the pack, and yeah, it's just like today. You just got to sort of stay at the front and keep your nose clean. And I think it's another pit stop. So yeah, but I'm really enjoying the races at the moment, and I'm glad I got my computer a little bit more stable at the moment, so I'm able to race. So yeah, I might keep doing the Mondays. I'm quite enjoying it. So thanks for putting it on.
Oh well, thank you for enjoying it. It's been good to have you here. It's good to see a lot more competitive people as well. With the class of the field is starting to come close. I know that you have definitely shown your pace with a couple of America's Championships as well. So it's good to see you here. Anyone you would like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, obviously all the Skinners who do a really great job. I love running a different car each and every week, and yeah, just pretty much a few of the other boys that support me. I don't really have too much people to thank, so. But just thank you guys for putting on an awesome show, and yeah, can't wait to be back next week.
Oh well, thank you for that, Marlon. We'll let you go as we move into the podium positions. We'll bring down Sammy Sutton. I don't know whether Brenton's back, which it won't be. So Sam Sutton, good result there in P3. Very clean. Well, besides the battle with Ian Ford, it was on for young and old there. So coming home in final podium position, how was your race?
Yeah, all in all, it was actually pretty good, considering I've spent a while out of the car since the end of last year. So Josh has had the pace over myself and Hammer recently, and he showed it tonight. Took it to Fuel Cell. Lucky enough to put it on pole, but just let Fuel Cell have a sniff, and he just went through it. And yeah, Ian Ford at the end there. Luckily for me, he fenced it, but unluckily for him, he did.
Yeah, it looked like that battle was going to go all the way down to the end. But yeah, you put yourself on pole. First time Rogers hasn't been up there. He's new to the team as well as you, as well as TTL as well. It's good to see this new bunch. I know Hampstead didn't have the desired race he would have liked, but it's good to see you two up there, and especially Rogers putting it to Fuel Cell the entire race.
Yeah, Rogers has been, since he's come on board at TTL, same time as me, he's just been picking the brains of the guys that we've got on board, Hampstead, John Latham, who've just been soaking up all the setup knowledge in the team, and he's pumping out the great sets at the moment. He's got the car working for him, and it's my job to catch up to get in front of him again.
Yeah, he's definitely starting to put the pressure to you boys. He's just starting to put it on there now. On to next week, it's Oran Park, another Aussie track, but different sort of way to go about it, not Bathurst. So how are you boys attack it? Are you guys going to launch a full assault like you did tonight with 3 cars? Who's going to be turning up? How are you guys going to go?
Well, I won't be there, that's for certain. But Rogers will definitely be. I think he's keen to get some miles under his belt pre-Premier Series, just so he's comfortable with the car, and we're kind of feeling a little bit's change, so we want to just get everything right before we kick off in the end of February.
Yeah, that's right. V8 Premier Series is closing in, and that's going to be one to watch for the rest of the season. We'll let you go. Anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
No, just a big shout out to all the guys at TTL for bringing me on board at the end of the last season. It's been a great ride so far. Hope we can get better.
Well, good. Thank you, Sam. And we'll move on to P2, Josh Rogers. So, Josh Rogers, another good result there. P2, you gave it to Jarrett Philsell, that entire result. Awesome drive, buddy. It was one of the best drives I've seen for a long time. Tell us about it.
Yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, starting off with qualifying, it was a bit intense really, being Bathurst and only having 2 laps to get it done, but first lap was pretty clean, but mainly conservative just to try and get it in, but yeah, second one made a couple of mistakes, but yeah, that put me 3rd. From there it was pretty much just try and move forward as far as I could, and yeah, definitely got a little bit close to Fuel Cell at the end there, but yeah, I gave it my best shot. What can you do, but he's doing a really great job at the moment, but yeah, definitely excited for next week. Oran Park, good fun track, tight track, technical track, ones I really like, so yeah, hopefully we can give it to him again next week and maybe get that top step of the podium.
Oh, well, I think that top step is coming after what you showed tonight. That was an awesome drive. They're great to watch. You were always giving it to Phil Cell. But yeah, next week, that different track as you spoke about, Oran Park, it's going to be one where you could maybe push Phil Cell. It's another track. It's not like Bathurst, but it is in certain ways with the competitiveness and the closeness of that track. The qualifying times tonight, as we've seen, were separated by nothing. So it could be the same again next week as well.
Yeah, especially considering the short lap times, so we'd probably see even closer times than this week, but because of the shorter lap time we will get more laps in too, which will help a fair few of the guys, but yeah, still that first lap's going to be probably the most important one, depending on the weather. But yeah, hopefully we can get the car as good as it has been this week, and give it another crack.
Yeah, it was a good result tonight, Josh. Anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go as well?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank TTL, Richard, Sam, everyone's help this week over setups and whatnot. It's been helping me get used to the car well, and know what little adjustments to make, say during race or just beforehand, to make sure it's as good as it can be. So yeah, thanks to those guys, and also thanks to you boys for doing the broadcast tonight.
Oh, well, thank you, Josh. We'll move on now. Thank you for that good race, and move on to Jared Filsell. Round 6 winner at Bathurst, Jared Filsell. Welcome to the broadcast. Congratulations. That was one of the races to watch. It was on for young and old between you and Josh Rogers. Sorry. Tell us about that. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was tough. I don't think I've ever driven a car around Bathurst that loose before. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it looked like that car was just on the ragged edge for the entire... And Josh wasn't letting you get away with that. He was always hanging it with you for that entire stint, for the entire race, I'd have to say. He caught you towards the end, put you under a little bit of pressure, but you definitely you did your normal class act and just kept your head down, didn't look in the mirror too much, and just got that win.
Yeah, he definitely had the faster car, but track position is key. Pretty much getting off the elbow cleanly every lap really proved dividends, because he was getting a bit loose and whatnot. But yeah, that's the main passing spot, so yeah, you couldn't really get close enough.
Yeah, he definitely did that well, and you were able to conserve that lead. Next one, I don't think we did you go. Next one, you move on to Oran Park next week. How are you going to go there? You're going to be here next week. I know you've been wanting to win one of these championships, like you said last week. You're going to be competing next week at Oran Park. It's another different track, but how do you think you guys will go?
Yeah, I hope so. We got a set from a long time ago in Scops, so I'm not sure if that'll work or not. But yeah, good track, hard to pass. Track position is key.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one as well, so 39 laps. So it'll definitely be a fuel stop. At least you guys will be able to get a couple more laps in quality, so it'll be good to see. Anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
I'd like to thank Mitch for not getting DQ'd. It's pretty much impossible around Bathurst, so good on him. Kane and his gold rims, so I hope they stood out in the broadcast. He completely went crazy with that, so yeah.
Yeah, he definitely had some weird coloured rims on the car tonight. Definitely seeing them going around. So well done, great result, Jared. It was awesome to watch. So well done to you and the boys. We will move on to Jake Maloney, who I don't think we had. If we can get him in here, I don't know whether we can. If we can get Jake Maloney in here, maybe. Is he there?
Yep.
Yes, he is. Sorry about that, Jake. You came in between everyone. I didn't notice you. Down in 11th. You were doing your old little commenting on the broadcast at the same time, just doing all the whiz kid stuff that I wouldn't be able to do. So, well, unlucky result. I think you would have liked a bit higher up than that, but after not qualifying, 11th could be a reasonable result.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean, I just decided 5-10 minutes before the race to actually race, so wasn't expecting anything too great. And then unfortunately got aero damage in an incident in the first couple of laps, which sort of put paid any chance of a top 10. So from there it was just pretty much cruising around, chatting in YouTube chat and trying not to fence it, which I did in the last couple of laps and got a meatball. But still brought it home in 11th.
Okay, so the meatball did happen, but you still were able to finish. That's one thing, because we were worried about a couple of cars may have had a meatball towards the end, but didn't actually get bad result, like DQ'd. So that was good to know that it might not actually happen. But yeah, so you got a bit of damage later on, still able to get the car home. You move on to next week, whether you're going to run next week as well. You were saying that you just came in last minute tonight. Oran Park, how would you boys go? I know all the other TTL guys will be looking forward to help, especially help Rogers get a good result.
Yeah, I think Rogers and possibly Richard might show up, but I probably should show up to get some laps before Sculpts, but I probably won't bother in the end. But yeah, it'd be interesting because Josh has been he's been running quite well at the moment, challenging Jared and beating Ethan quite consistently, so he's been doing a good job.
Yeah, he's definitely been the class act of the team at the moment, and I think the series as well. He's definitely been giving it to some of the boys up front, especially Jared Philsell, so it's good to see. Anyone you would like to thank as well before we let you go?
Yeah, I'd just like to give Scott Connors a shout out for being a good crew chief. His wise words in YouTube chat really helped me finish the race off strong.
Good old Scotty Connors giving you the chat. Well done, Maloney. Unlucky there for P11, but still a good result. We hope to see you next time.
Yep, thanks mate.
Sounded a bit shady there, didn't it? But yep, I think we should be right.
Are you back, Mr. Brenton?
Oh, I don't know, mate. It's upgrading something. I don't know.
Oh, well, that's Brenton O'Brien, everyone. I'm Jake Blackall, Director Hugo Louise. That's been Race Sport TV's coverage of Round 6 of the official V8 Supercar Championship. Next week, we move on to Oran Park for Round 7, 39 laps. It's going to be a cracking race, another pit stop race. Who knows what's going to happen? Can Josh Rogers keep up with Jared Philsell next week? It's all going to come out then. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.